Hello again. It's episode 16 of Travel Talk with me, your handsome and witty host. Episode 16. This is going to be about New Orleans. Last episode we were in Biloxi, Mississippi, and we were just about to leave after 5 days of being there. Really good time there, but all good things come to an end, and on to New Orleans in Louisiana, which is wow. It's an amazing place, honestly. It's very famous, obviously, for like Mardi Gras and amongst other things. And let's get into it. So we left Biloxi on it was ironically, I didn't make this like this, but ironically it was, again, I think I said in the last video, it's today that I'm recording this on the 29th is the day that we actually left Biloxi for New Orleans, which is really cool. So, so we left the motel at about 11 o'clock sort of time, I think it was checkout time, and headed to the bus station. Unfortunately, our bus wasn't going to be until about, I think it was about 2:30, 3:30 sort of time. So we had a little bit of a wait, but it's alright, you just whack the Kindle on or listen to music, it's no big thing. We were there for probably about 3.5 hours waiting for the bus. Quite cool, the guy that was working behind the counter at the bus station remembered us from when we'd actually come. So he let us put our bags behind the door where the counter was, so we didn't have to look after them for the 3.5 hours. So that was really cool of him. 3.5 hours passed pretty quickly. Got on the bus to New Orleans. New Orleans bus, I think, only took about 2.5 hours, which meant we'd get there for about 5 o'clock sort of time, Bus ride wasn't anything special. Scenery was fairly nice out the windows, quite a lot of lakes and bridges, but it's nothing amazing. And we got to New Orleans about 5 o'clock and headed to the hotel, got a taxi from the bus station to the hotel, dropped our bags off, headed out to grab some dinner. There was a restaurant attached to the hotel. It wasn't actually owned by the hotel, but it was attached to it, and they had a deal with the hotel that if we were staying there, you'd get discounted meals and everything. So that first night I had a really nice hamburger steak, which was really nice. So it was mashed potatoes and veg. It was a great meal, to be honest. One of the best meals I think I had, because that steak was beautiful. We did that. Didn't do much else that night. I think we watched The Voice, the US version of The Voice on, I think it's on NBC. Ironic fact, we didn't miss an episode of The Voice in America up until the second, I think it must have been the second before last episode, so probably the semi-final or the final four, whatever they call it. So that was pretty cool. We watched all the auditions and everything, and I did exactly the same with the Australian version as well, so that was cool. Did that, and then just headed to bed really, because obviously we wanted to make the most of the next couple of days, didn't want to have a late night. That was the first kind of quarter day sounds about right, quarter day in New Orleans. So the first full day was the next day. Left the hotel by about 9 o'clock, headed down to Canal Street, which is a very famous street. It's got all the shops and restaurants on it in New Orleans. So we headed there. It's only about a 10-minute walk away from the hotel, which was really good. Got there. What's nice about Canal Street is the buildings have still got the architecture of many years ago. Obviously, newer shops have moved in and newer restaurants, but the buildings have kept their architecture, so it's still very in keeping with the way the city should be seen and shown. So that's pretty cool. It was a nice place to take photos as well. There was streetcars going past, and that's the signs about Canal Street and Bourbon Street, which we Bourbon Street. Bourbon's a biscuit. Bourbon Street. The signs were quite cool, so I took photos of them. But we'll get to Bourbon Street in a minute. Not Bourbon, because I love Bourbon biscuits, but that's a different story. Had breakfast at an IHOP, which is a restaurant chain in America. They do all-day breakfast, and they are amazing. We went in there and had pancakes and ice cream for breakfast. And when I say pancakes, I mean the stack of pancakes was like that, so that was really cool. We did that, had that for breakfast. That kept us going for most of the day. And then we headed down Bourbon Street. which is the most famous street in New Orleans. Everyone knows it. Everyone's at least heard of it. It's where the massive souvenir shops and bars are. It's like the party street, basically. There's a lot more beats down there from where you can see Mardi Gras been, because Mardi Gras in theory would only have been about 2 weeks before we were there, so maybe a little bit more, but yeah. So we only missed Mardi Gras by a little bit, and you could still see all the beads were on the signs and on the roofs and everything. So that was cool. Headed down to I'm going to call it Bourbon Street a lot in it now, because apparently I can't say Bourbon. Bourbon. Headed down Bourbon Street, which is 13 blocks of buildings. And yeah, we cut down one of the side streets before the last block and headed to, I think it was Jackson National Park? Not Jackson National, but Jackson Square Park. We headed there. That's where the St. Louis Cathedral is, and Louisiana State Museum, and it's opposite the Mississippi River. So that's really cool. The cathedral, ironically, looks like Disneyland. If you take a picture from far away, it looks like the castle from Disneyland. Which is, I'll put a picture of that at the end of the video. That's pretty cool. So yeah, it was kind of like going to a weird New Orleans Disneyland, which is different. Did that. Had a little wander around there. It's quite a nice fountain in the opposite the cathedral, which was nice. And yeah, that was probably took us up until about 2-3 o'clock in the afternoon. And then we went and had a walk around the French Market, which was about 5 minutes away from Cathedral Square. And yeah, that was cool. There's a lot of handmade stuff people have made, like purses and bags, brooches, t-shirts, a lot of customised stuff that you could only buy there from them people. And that made it cool. What got me about it being there is there was 150 stalls in this market, but it felt like one really big community as such, which is really cool. I mean, it's good to see that New Orleans comes together and can run something like that. And yeah, that was pretty much that day, to be honest. We headed back to the hotel, had a bit of dinner again, and then yeah, just headed to bed, ready for the next day, in all honesty, which was going to be a fun day with Tom Hanks, which, who can go wrong with Tom Hanks, really? I mean, Tom Hanks is a bit of a god. So yeah, anyway, we got up early the next morning again, left the hotel by about 10 maybe, and headed down to the World War II Museum, which was about a 10-minute walk away. Yeah, I'm not going to lie, the World War II Museum was really cool. It was 4 stories on one side, like memorabilia and history and stuff from the war and information and everything. And then on the other side there was an IMAX theatre with Tom Hanks himself. Unfortunately, we didn't actually meet Tom Hanks. It was like a virtual reality hologram, but I'm slightly sad that I didn't meet Tom Hanks, but at the same time, so yeah, we headed inside, bought our tickets, which was the price I think was only about $15 a ticket, so that's pretty good considering we spent most of the day there. So yeah, we went in there. Like I say, we went into the part where the 4 stories were first, 4 floors of a lot of history, how it affected America physically, emotionally, economically, just everything basically. And I think we spent about 3 hours on that side. It was really interesting. I mean, I did history at like A level and GCSE in England, and obviously it's one thing to learn about these things, but it's another thing to see it all up close and personal and in person. So yeah, that was a really interesting 3 hours. In all honesty, it was, and it's very poignant as well because obviously the UK was a very big part of World War II, and it's just nice to see it respected in a museum and dignified the way it is. So yeah, we did that for 3 hours and then crossed a little road and went to the IMAX theatre to meet old Tom Hanks himself, or Autumn Shank as he's known in The Simpsons. And yeah, we sat down to this IMAX presentation. It lasted about 45 minutes. Tom Hanks narrated the entire thing. It was all just basically about America's part in World War II and what role they played in the eventual victory for the Allied nations. It was a little bit biased towards America, and I don't think like the UK and the other allied nations got as much credit as they probably deserve, but it's always probably going to be the case, it being in America, so that wasn't a big thing really, but it's just a little thing that I saw. So yeah, then we finished that. I think that took us up to about 5 o'clock sort of time. Headed back to the hotel, went to the little restaurant again for some dinner. I had the local delicacy, which was alligator sausage, which, believe me, is a beautiful sausage in itself. It's bigger than a normal sausage. It's a lot richer than a normal sausage. Yeah, I'd really recommend alligator sausages to anyone. It tasted amazing. It came with a little bit of cheese and some sticks and some little crackers as well. It's like, alligator sausage is amazing. It rocked my world. Alligator sausage and cheese. How can you go wrong? Yeah. So yeah, had alligator sausage. And then went back up to the room and got packed because unfortunately we'd be leaving New Orleans the next day and heading to San Antonio in Texas. Yeah, it was a shame obviously we weren't in New Orleans longer, but because of the schedule that we'd set ourselves, only being there 2.5 to 3 months sort of time because of the visa, we couldn't stay in places for too long sometimes, and New Orleans is fairly expensive to stay in, unfortunately. Even the place that we stayed in, it wasn't central as such, but it was still fairly expensive, so we couldn't really justify staying there any longer. But I enjoyed New Orleans. I think it was one of my favourite places, definitely. It's a lot of history. It's got a lot of charm to it, old charm. And yeah, I'd recommend anyone going to New Orleans, especially for like Mardi Gras. I'd like to go for Mardi Gras, but unfortunately, like I say, we didn't. But yeah, this has been New Orleans. Next episode will be San Antonio. Like I say, San Antonio is pretty cool. We did a lot there. We went to a lot of museums and walked along the river, went to the Rainforest Cafe. So yeah, we did quite a bit there. And then after San Antonio, we'll be on to Dallas. And Dallas isn't a fun episode. Well, it is and it isn't. Dallas starts off really badly and then gets a lot better quickly. But yeah, I won't spoil what happens. But there's a rather significant event that happens in Dallas that kind of affects the journey as such. But, you know, these things happen and it didn't ruin the trip. And yeah, I'll catch you next time for San Antonio. Thank you for watching. Keep commenting, subscribing, liking, loving my face. And yeah, catch you next time. Bye-bye.
I've been flowing down the river in your eyes.